Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and it's match day 21 in Liga. And as we get closer to the end of the season, a lot of things are still complicated. Like, it's not very clear what is going to happen at the end of the season. You could clearly say that PSG have a very strong lead coming into to the end of the season. They are still undefeated, 10-point gap over Marseille for the title. So I would say they are the favorites to win it, but you still never know. They have a big match against Monaco on Friday night, so that could shake things up if Monaco somehow get the win. You go down from third place Monaco right up until 10th place Toulouse. There's just 11 points between the next 8 teams, all of them qualifying fighting to qualify for those European places. Then the bottom 8, it's just 9 points between the bottom 8 team. Any team can get a couple of good wins, and they can shake up the table, and they can get out of those relegation places. So it's really tight at the moment. So let's go ahead and make our predictions for match day 21 and see what it's gonna bring. Last week there were a couple of good a couple of surprising results for the team. So let's hope we get an exciting game of weekends this weekend as well. So let's go in the first game. It's Nantes versus Brest. It is 15th, sorry, it is 14th versus 11th now. Nantes, they finally won last week, and they've not won for almost a month now. The last five games before last weekend were 4 draws and a defeat, so they would feel really happy that they finally won, and it was an important win against a Ram side who are just above them. So they've not only have got it away from the team below them, they've won, and they've got it close to Rams as well. They're playing against a Brest side who played a really good game against PSG, but ended up being being defeated. Their first win in their in a month, so they would want to come get a response after that game as well. I think it's going to be a very good game of football, and I think it's going to be a close game. But I don't think we're going to get a winner out of this game. I think it's going to end up in a draw, but it's going to be a score draw. I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Nantes and Brest. Moving on, it is that big game, the biggest game in Liga this weekend. It is PSG versus Monaco. It is first versus third. There's 13-point difference between PSG and Monaco. Basically, for me, Monaco are out of the title race. I don't think anybody is going to catch PSG right now with just 14 games to go, 10-point lead, undefeated. It is looking really likely that PSG are going to be the champions yet again. But this is one of those games where PSG could drop the points, and Marseille would be, hoping that Monaco can do them a huge favor here. I think it's going to be quite a good game of football. I think Monaco always step up when they play against PSG, but with just the way that PSG are playing and the form that they are in, I don't think it's going to be an easy night for Monaco. I think PSG are going to somehow nick it in the end, but I think it's going to be quite an interesting game of football. I'm going for a 3-2 win for PSG. Moving on, it's Nice versus Lens. It is 5th versus 6th. Both these teams have 3 wins in their last 5 games. Both these teams are playing really good football. Nice they drew last weekend against a Toulouse side, which I think I sort of expected it was going to happen. It was a really tough game for them. Lens, on the other hand, they won against a Montpellier side. Again, that was sort of expected. So Lens are right, in that top 6. They're just a point behind Nice. So it's going to be quite a good game of football. Lens have been really good this season, and Nice have been quite inconsistent. They would be really disappointed that they have dropped down back to number 5. They were at one point looking really good to finish in the top 3. I think it will be a good game of football. I think they're going to be close, but yet again, I don't see a winner out of this game. I'm going for a 2-all draw between Nice and Lens. Then it's Lille versus Ligue, where it is 4th versus 18th. Lille, they won last weekend against Saturday. It was a really good win for them. They really needed it as well. Playing against the Ligue side who drew last weekend against Onjor. They have not won a single game in about 6 or 7 games, Lièvre, and it's looking really bad for them. Lille, on the other hand, they know if they get a win and lets a couple of results go their way, they could end the weekend on a 3rd spot, even going better than where they started. And I think it's going to be an easy win for them. They are the home side as well, and I think it's going to be a sort of a similar game as it was to Saint Etienne. When I'm going for a very comfortable win for Lille. I'm going for a 3-0 win for Lille. Moving on, it is Saint Etienne versus Rennes. It is 16th versus 15th. Saint Etienne, they got hammered by Lille last weekend. They were destroyed. They have not been in a really good form, to be very honest with you. And they are playing against Rennes side, who themselves have not been in a really good form. They lost 6 games prior to last weekend's surprising win against Strasbourg. They were really good against Strasbourg, so they would hope that they've sort of turned around the corner. After that win, they got out to the bottom 3 as well, putting Saint Etienne in the bottom 3 as well. There's just 2-point difference between these two sides, so quite possibly Saint Etienne could win this game and get out of those bottom three and put Rennes in that bottom three position. So it's a big, massive game at the bottom of the table. I think it'll be a good game of football, but I just don't see a winner in this game yet again. A lot of games this weekend are very hard to predict. A lot of those games are, you just don't see a clear winner out of those games. Unfortunately, I think this is yet another one of those games. I think it'll be a very good game, another good game, but goals with them, but just not a winner. I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Saint Etienne and Rennes. And then it's Lyon versus Reims. Both these teams are in a really bad form coming into this game. Lyon, they have won just once, and that was about a month ago in the league. They are playing against a Reims side who have not won in their last 5 games. So as I said, not both these teams coming into the game, it's not a good form. But Lyon are the home side. They are 7th in the table. They really need to get the wins to get back into the in those European places. They want to get back into the Champions League as well. Reims on the other hand, they are really close to those relegation places. If not the bottom two, there's just a 4-point difference between them and a 16th place Saint Etienne. So they really need to get the wins as well. But it is not going to happen in my opinion. I think Lyon being the home side and the pressure that they have at the moment, I think they are somehow going to indicate. I will not be surprised if this game ends up in a draw, but I am going to back Lyon in this one. I think it will be a win, but I think it will be a very close, hard-fought win. I'm going for a 1-0 win for Lyon. Moving on, it is Auxerre versus Toulouse. It is 11th versus 10th. Yet another game where both these teams are not in a really good form. Auxerre, they are winners in their last 5 games, 3 defeats and a couple of draws. Toulouse, on the other hand, just 1 win in their last 5 games, and the last 4 games have been winners, 2 defeats and 2 draws. So both these teams again coming into this game with not in a good form, and they would hope they can turn things around. There's just 3-point difference between them. If Auxerre can get that win, they can be on the same points as Toulouse and maybe overtake them as well. So it's a big incentive for them. I think it will be a very good game of football. I think Auxerre, the way that they play, you can expect goals whenever they play. Last weekend as well, they played against Monaco. We got a 6-goal thriller in that game as well. So I think it will be a fun game to watch, and I think somewhere, I think Auxerre are going to nick it in the end. I think Toulouse, unfortunately, are going to lose this game, if I'm being very honest with you. But I think it will be a very hard-fought game. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Auxerre. Moving on, it is Strasbourg versus Montpellier. It is 9th versus 17th. Now, Strasbourg, they suffered a shocking defeat last weekend at the hands of Rennes. Rennes were really dreadful coming into this game, and Strasbourg were in a really good form. So I really thought Strasbourg were going to get the win, but they really did not. So they would want to get a response. They are still in contention to get into those European places. There's just a 6-point difference between them and the team in those European places. So they know that they still have a chance, and they are fighting for it. Playing against the Montpellier side, who are fighting for their life to get out of that relegation places. They have been in a good form recently, but they lost last weekend quite convincingly against Lille, and I think it is going to be quite a good game of football, this one as well. But I don't think we are going to get a result, unfortunately. I think that is yet another one of those games. It is a really hard one to call because you really don't know what Strasbourg are going to do, and Montpellier yet again, they've been quite inconsistent, as I said, but I think it will be a fun game. I think there are going to be goals in this game as well. I'm going for a 2-2 draw between Strasbourg and Montpellier. And the last game of the weekend is Angers versus Marseille. It is 12th versus 2nd. Now, both of these teams have 3 wins in their last games. Both these teams have been quite good, to be very honest with you. But this is one of those games which Marseille cannot really afford to lose. It doesn't matter, now at the moment, Marseille they basically have to be 100% if they have any hope of catching PSG. PSG are 10 points above them. They have a very tough game where they could quite easily, drop the points there. So it's going to be a massive game for Marseille, and as I said, they cannot really afford to drop any more points if they really want to go ahead and catch PSG. Playing against an Angers side who have been really good. I'll be very honest with you. The start of the season was dreadful, but the way that they have picked up and they've started getting the results, and at the moment I really don't think they are going to get relegated, and that is why I think it is going to be a tough game for Marseille. I don't think it's going to be an easy one for them, but I think, and that is why unfortunately for Marseille, I think they are going to drop points here. Whatever the result there is going to be in the PSG game, I think it will be a very fun game of football. I'm going for a 2-2 draw between Angers and Marseille. And with that, my predictions for match day 21 in Liga is completed. We're going to see how many of them are correct, how many of them are wrong at the end of the weekend, and I'm going to do the review for sure. I did not do last weekend because I was traveling, but this weekend I'm going to do it for sure. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of my predictions in the comment section below, and do you agree with them, do you disagree with them? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of February, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.